Alex Cosper from SacTV.com. We're here with Gary Rominger of Backstage Pass, which is a theater group, right?
Yes, it is.
In North Natomas.
That's right, Alex.
And you put it together, right?
Yeah, about 7 years ago, my wife and I moved to Heritage Park. It's a gated, active adult community. You got to be 55 or more to live there. And when we moved in, there were like 40-something clubs and activities, but nothing in the whole world of performing arts. So I filled out the paperwork, and we put together a little group called Backstage Pass, the Performing Arts Club at Heritage Park. That was in November 7 years ago. We're just about coming up on our 7th anniversary. We had 13 people for the first meeting, and now we are the largest club in Heritage Park at 509 members. And we do about $85,000 a year in ticket sales.
That's awesome.
We did last year, anyway.
So you put on plays?
No. We go to plays.
Oh, you go to plays. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure we still are, but at one time our club was the largest purchaser of tickets for California Musical Theater. Between Music Circus, Broadway's Sacramento, and the Cosmopolitan Cabaret. We sometimes buy out the whole cabaret, fill it with 200 of our friends and neighbors, and have fun. We do bus trips to San Francisco, to the SHN theaters. We support a lot of the local, that's probably actually the biggest thing, are some of the little community theaters, such as we do Woodland Opera House, Davis Musical Theater, Runaway Stage at 24th Street, B Street. B Street's professional rather than community, but we support them.
When you say support, you mean you give donations?
Mainly we buy tickets, but we do at the end of the year. Each year we take any surplus money that we have, because of IRS regulations and everything. We take any of our surplus money and we pick a theater group, and usually youth theater. That's the future. The old guys like us, been there, done that. But we support a lot of the youth theater programs, and we give them whatever's left over at the end of the year. Usually not a lot, $500–600. But you know, most of the theaters would survive just fine if people would just buy a lot of tickets and go see a lot of shows.
So your interest is what? You just love theater?
Yeah, I was born and raised on a ranch in Yolo County, and we didn't have any neighbors close. I just sort of entertained myself. So I was 8 years old when I built my first theater in the basement of the ranch house, and sort of could get my mom and my grandmother to come and watch me do a show, all by myself usually. And then when I was in high school, I would bribe my older cousins to drive me to Sacramento to go see Music Circus. In those days, that was the show in town.
Yeah, I went to that.
I've been going to Music Circus since 1958.
Okay.
Now buy a lot of Music Circus tickets, and was a major donor to the new Wells Fargo Pavilion. I just really thoroughly enjoy theater. Heavy into the musicals. I like the musical theater, but I also like the straight theater, dramatics just as much. And it's been really fun to get to know the people, work with them. I've been on the board of directors of community theater, and I'm not an actor, but I do love the whole techie side of things. Directing, I love to direct, I love to stage manage. Done a lot of that. Okay.
Now going back a little further, you're from a family that has been known for wine in the area, right?
In Yolo County, yes.
Okay.
The Rominger family, well, I'm 5th generation Yolo County, and I think we're down to 7th or 8th now with some of the cousins' kids. My grandfather was the oldest of 12, and the family has just sort of built a wide-based pyramid. And we did Rominger West, was the Romingers grew the fruit, and Mark West made it into wine. They've closed recently.
Is that the same Mark West? There's a street named after him in like...
No, that's a different Mark West.
Oh, okay. Because that's the wine country.
That is the wine country, and they share the same name. But Mark worked for R.H. Phillips out in the Dunnigan Hills of Yolo County, and a number of other wineries. And this was his chance to try it on his own. Before that, the family was selling grapes to some of the Napa Valley and the Sonoma County wineries, primarily in Syrahs.
Okay. So you grew up kind of like a wine taster in a way, right?
Actually, that came a little later in life. I developed an appreciation for fine wines and fine food. And but it was after the kids were raised and out of college, and I could afford it.
Sure. So in any way, did wine lead you into theater?
No, I was into theater long before wine.
Okay.
But I do or did. I haven't the last couple of years, but I had access to some pretty generous wineries and got them into donating wine to serve at the theaters during intermissions, or sometimes, this is going to sound awful, but I'm going to say it, I like to entertain big parties, and everybody knows I'm into wine, so they bring wine to the party. And so
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, except that when the party's over the next morning and you find 31 bottles of unopened wine that probably I'm not going to drink.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Not my taste. So I put them all in boxes and take them to Woodland Opera House or the Magic Circle when it was open in Roseville or wherever, and just say, here's a whole bunch of wine. Pour it in intermission and hope people enjoy it, because it was more than I needed. I currently have probably between 300 and 400 bottles cellared.
Okay.
But it's and most of it's upper end wines. I like gourmet food and good wine.
And you also like helping the community, obviously. How did you develop that sense of really wanting to do things for people in your community?
I think that's a family thing. The family has been not really into philanthropy as such, but helping out when people need help. It doesn't matter what it is. One night out by the ranch, found a broken down car and a young man in the car. He was a soldier from Washington. He was in military base up in Washington, and he was about to go AWOL because he was broken down in the middle of the back country of Yolo County.
Sure. Last place you want to get stranded.
Yeah, and so my grandfather came across him and said, well, what time do you have to be there? And he says, okay, we can make that. He called up my brother, my younger brother, Bill, and Grandpa, put this young soldier in the truck and headed for Washington. Got him back on base before he got in trouble, then came back, had his car towed in and got it repaired, and the next time he had leave, he came down, picked up his car, and didn't cost the guy anything. It was just helping somebody out, and it's just the way I was raised. And helping people, helping your community, it's just something I like to do. I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and money into a lot of different things, and I'm pretty much an arts activist. I tend to, if I can't do it, I'll try to find somebody who can, and keep the arts alive.
Good plan. Thanks for talking with me, Gary.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time, Alex.
All right.